Welcome back, everybody. Speaking patois with my next guest, who's here tonight. He's written an interesting book too, by the way. You know, the rules, relationship rules. That's the name of his book. I think there's a subtitle, but the big title, relationship rules. And I want to understand what the rules are, because we need some rules out here in the world, people. People are messing up love and messing up each other. I didn't realize tonight's show was going to be such an interesting foray into how we might deal with each other. But welcome to the show tonight, Dr. Eddie Connor. Hey, Dr. Eddie.
Hey, it's an honor to share with you on the show, chapter and verse in the Book of Sean.
Oh my God. Yes, it's good to have you, sir. Let me ask you this real quick before I dive into this. What are you proud of at this stage in your life? What are you proud of?
I'm proud of living through dying places.
What does that mean?
Yeah, it means for me, 2021 marks 21 years of me being cancer-free, to where I don't look like what I've been through. First three letters in cancer spells can. And so to have that mindset that I can overcome, you can survive, is the blessing behind, in many cases, the battle and oftentimes the burden.
Well, listen, that's exactly where I was going to go next, because I heard that you were diagnosed with a very rare form of cancer. And since you've invited us in, let's go there. What did they say to you? What did you have, and how did they tell you?
Yeah, it was the age of 15, and I was having these chest pains, and oftentimes masculinity and vulnerability can't coexist in the same space. Oftentimes that's seen as femininity, and pain is seen as weakness leaving the body. And I was having these chest pains, didn't want to talk to anybody about it. My favorite two classes in school were gym and lunch. I wanted to chase the girls at gym and then sit down and eat with them at lunch. And I couldn't breathe by halftime watching a football game over my friend's house. His mother takes me to the hospital. My mother meets me there. Doctors do a CT scan of the chest, and they think that it's a punctured lung. And I'm thinking it's got to be something more than that. They take me to another hospital, cut me open. They see my cells in my body growing so fast they could see them growing with the naked eye around my heart, trachea, esophagus. And the doctor says 4 words, after they take the tumor out of my body. He says, "We can't promise anything." He says that to my mother. Wow. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? He says, you have what we call non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I'm like, Dr. Sean, my first language is Ebonics. I'm still trying to learn English. What do you mean? So he says, you have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. I'm filling my pockets to find $4. He says, you have stage 4 cancer. And right as I'm trying to even get my whole mind and grasp it around it, because I'm thinking you can't get cancer till you're 70, 80 years of age. Yeah. He says, don't ask why. And for the next 2 years, chemotherapy, radiation, I lost all my hair. My own biological father never visited me one day in the hospital. That was the question I asked: why me? Why now? And so to find,
because first of all, Dr. Eddie, I'm gonna take you off your preacher horse tonight. All right, I'm just telling you right now. Yeah, no preacher horse tonight. Because first of all, wow. let's just establish that as the common default emotion to that story. 15 years old, and this happens to you, but your father never came to see you.
Yeah, right.
Why?
Well, how it goes. Oftentimes, when divorces happen and children are caught in the middle of it, sometimes you find out one good parent is better than 2 bad ones. And so, grateful for a praying mother who prayed for me and encouraged me, and and then discovering the fight on the inside.
Yeah. But Dr. Eddie, I'm sure, and first of all, that's a brilliant answer, and I appreciate it. But I know, and just go back to the 15-year-old for a second. What were the emotions when you heard it, you're dealing with it, and you're discovering that one good parent is what you have? What were you feeling at the time?
Without a doubt, it's cataclysmic extirpation, is depression going on. It's how am I fighting for my life when I'm just starting my life? Because you already have a target on your back as a Black boy, but now you're fighting 2 fights, outside of the larger society viewing
So
you.
you're
And now
feeling what? I got the narrative, but you're feeling what? You despair?
oh yeah, despair, depression, that you just want to give up, that you want to throw in the towel.
Yeah.
That you
Listen, I got to take a break because I'm over time. This whole show I've been over time. But this is interesting, and the reason I'm having him tell everybody, walk us through this story, is because moral authority comes when you come back from the dead, and he's going to help us tonight get our relationships together. And he's not doing it from something that he's read; he's doing it from something he survived. We'll be back. Welcome back, everybody. I'm talking to Dr. Eddie Carter, who just gave me an idea for him. Listen, man. So you make it out of this. You survive quite honestly, quite seriously. I'm assuming you attribute your survival. Let me ask you: attribute your survival to what?
The grace of God and a powerful praying mother, without a doubt, because she fought for me when I didn't want to fight for myself. I really wanted to give up. I was ready to go.
Really? At 15?
Without a doubt.
Yeah. It's interesting that people think that despair is something that comes to you in middle age or comes to you when you're older. But the reality is despair can come at any age, right?
At any age. It's beyond the age, it's the stage of where you are in your life. And, you're already caught in your a whole aspect of a chasm of you're trying to now be regular like all the other kids at that age, and you want to fit in, and you're sticking out like a sore thumb. And so it is a total grasp to the degree of you going to the edge of your mind.
Yeah.
Really
wow.
is.
Yeah. That's a great way to explain it and describe it. Because a lot of us have been to the edge of our minds, right? For maybe not for cancer, but we've been there for other reasons. And so, no, thank you for that. But I want to talk to you about this book, Relationship Rules, because, I think anybody can come up with some good relationship rules with somebody I want to talk to. Because people, let me ask you this question. Why is it that we seem to be so acutely incapable of getting relationships right? Why do we keep messing them up, Dr. Carter?
Well, I think we don't really understand each other. I think so many times we come from a perspective of we always have the right answer, or we believe that listening is waiting to talk versus actually having an ear to hear what someone is saying. You don't necessarily have to agree from their perspective, but being able to agree without being disagreeable. I think that really brings it to that whole aspect. And then also, we're inundated with so much on social media. We're inundated with so many people's opinions, and so many times opinions now become facts and becomes absolutes, when oftentimes that is the farthest from the truth.
Tell me how the idea for this book found you.
I developed an academy, a virtual academy focused on relationships. Dr. Eddie's Relationship Academy focused on 3 areas: love, leadership, leveraging your purpose. And based on whether you're voting, whether you're marrying someone, whether you're dating, wherever the case may be in your life, relationships become the glue for where it is. And oftentimes we're gorilla glued to the wrong people. And so being able to not resurrect relationships that we should not give CPR to, that really kind of became the engine for me. And then, being able to pivot in a pandemic and create community with transparency really became the engine for this book. And I felt as if I could also repair my relationship with my father. I could help anybody overcome any chasm in their relationship.
And have you done that?
Without a doubt. Yeah.
Well, talk to me about that, because I didn't expect you to say that tonight.
Without a doubt. I think one of the main ingredients for me to live, I had to forgive. And I had to forgive him before he ever gave any apology. And so having to overcome that specific aspect, and as I was writing my first book, I was literally healing. Writing became therapeutic for me to open up various portals and channels in my life that I was bitter about. But you don't become better unless you let go of what is bitter, the circumstance in your life. And so trying to make lemons out of lemonade, lemonade out of those lemons really
But
became.
let me push you and ask you this succinctly. If you had to attribute your capacity to forgive your father to one thing, what would it be?
Freedom.
What do you
Freedom.
mean?
More so being psychologically incarcerated, because a lot of times we're blaming people for why we are where we are and how we are. And when I really found that forgiveness is freedom, that I had to let go of somebody and the perspective and the negativity with that made me toxic. You know, a lot of times we're bitter and we're drinking the poison of bitterness, expecting the other person to feel the effects of it.
Yeah.
When in many cases, it's only afflicting us and affecting us. And so that became that ingredient. And if I could overcome that and then get an apology for him years later after I'd already let it go and say, I'm going to move on and move forward and forgive. That now became the main ingredient for me moving my life to the next level. And,
all right, listen. I got to take a break. When we come back, I want to hear some of these relationship rules, because you're right. If you can fix that situation with your dad, then I got my pen ready. You can give me some advice. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. I'm talking to Dr. Eddie Connor. Now, look at Dr. Eddie. Let's get to it. I want to know these rules. I know you can't give them all to me, right? Because this is why we need to buy the book. But give me 3 good ones. Give me some 3 good relationship rules that are going to help us do what you did.
Yeah. You know, one is don't follow your heart. I think people telling others to follow your heart is the worst advice you could be given. I mean, they tell you to follow your heart as if it's a social media post or something like that, or a handle. You know, even scripture says the heart is desperately wicked, and above all, who could know it? And so oftentimes our heart will take us where our mind can't keep us. And so I think one of those ingredients for that is to be led by God, of course, but also to be led by using real pragmatic information. Whenever you see, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. And the problem is we're trying to repaint people with different colors and a panoramic perspective of what it is, when we ought to believe them the first time. Another one is, in relationships, love is not enough. When you bring that to the degree, so many times people say, you know, I'm marrying solely for love. I want to date solely for love. But people who are divorced love each other too, but they can't be together. They'll rip each other's heads off. And so I think it comes from that whole aspect of love is not enough, purpose is. I don't want to just fall in love. Fall in love sounds like a trap. I want to stand in love, and I stand in love through the prism and the panoramic perspective of purpose. Purpose becomes the glue to move.
How does purpose become a glue in a relationship?
Purpose becomes a glue simply because you've got to find out where each other is, you know, and I think you got to meet in the middle in regard to what is your purpose in life. So many people find out that they were, yes, in love based on chemistry, but there was no suitability. Suitability comes with purpose. Suitability comes in a place of where it is as a helpmate. You don't necessarily have to do what I do, but can you support me by allowing me to do what I do without insecurity, without the whole aspect of intimidation, because whoever you intimidate will eventually be who you eliminate.
Well, you know, I think it's interesting. I guess so let's assume that people are in a relationship and they are, you know, standing together in purpose, as it were. What advice would you have to help those people make things even better?
Well, to make things even better, I think you've got to have clear levels of communication. Also, I think it takes me to that other degree of boundaries. Boundaries are a blessing in that whole aspect. I think you've got to give people room to grow and to develop the gift, the purpose, the talent, the well-being of who they are, not solely crowding somebody's space. You know, can you allow me to grow without you feeling that you need to clip my wings when I want to spread my wings? And that purpose now comes to the place of a why. Nobody's going to complete you. Only God does that. The person should compliment you. And that's more than telling you your suit is fly, your dress is nice, but can you fit me with the vision where I'm going in my life to move to the next level?
Are there some conversations or some questions people should ask or be having right away?
Without a doubt. How were you raised? I think you got to find out how people were raised. Was there love in the home? Do you even know your love language? Because oftentimes we love people the way that we think they need to be loved versus actually loving them the way they need to be loved. And oftentimes people don't necessarily know how they need to be loved because they haven't done the interpersonal work internally to see, what are my traumas? What are my triggers? What are things that I need to heal from? What are things that are holding me back from real love or accepting it, much less even expressing it to somebody else?
Yeah. Are any others? Because these are the things that you would say, listen, before you get serious, or even when the first date, ask this question.
I think the other thing is that you got to focus on building friendship first. A lot of times when you even think about, sometimes people think that the first date, they're going to get married the next date. Building a solid friendship becomes the foundational element, because in friendship, you're able to ask serious questions. In friendship, you're able to really find out.
Now that's good. That was good. Because I think that's actually an important invitation to people as to why we should first seek to be friends, because in friendship, you can ask serious questions that you might not be inclined to ask if you rush to swap and spit and other stuff.
Right. If you rush it, you might ruin it. Better to wait long than to marry wrong. And I think in friendship, now you're able to go through the seasons with people. Spring, summer, winter, fall. The attitude is springing up. They want to be a hot boy, a hot girl in the summer. Now they want to fall back. Now they feel like a loser in the winter. I think now you're going to really be able to see who somebody is, the panoramic perspective of who they are totally and completely when you're in that phase of friendship.
So friendship is the necessary condition for the possibility of significant and hard conversations. Real quick, before we go, talk to me about your Relationship Academy. I know you mentioned it earlier, but I want to give you an opportunity to talk about it, because there may be some folks who want to connect with you there.
Yes, and they can do that. The revolution not only be televised, it'll be digitized. They can go to dreddieacademy.com, and we're just a transparent community. We have a private Facebook group. We have an online portal. We meet once a week with Q&A discussions, with masterclass sessions, talking about those three aspects of love, leadership, leveraging your purpose, how you can grow, how you can develop, how you can build your friendships, how you can build positive, healthy relationships, but also purposeful partnerships is the main ingredient. And we're seeing transformative change on a weekly basis.
Make sure before we go, you tell me about how they can get this book as well. Where can we get the book?
Without a doubt, you can get it 3 ways on Amazon, as well as dreddieacademy.com/book as an ebook, as an audio book, and then also as a hard copy.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm interested. You motivate people. What motivates you?
What motivates me becomes the whole aspect of really overcoming obstacles. I use challenges to understand that I've discovered that there's a champion on the inside of me. Using people's negative steam to power my dream becomes the engine for me. I love challenges. I love when people tell me what I can't do, because now it births something on the inside of me to actually prove it wrong, and just to go out and build it in the midst of
I'm the opposite. Challenges don't motivate me. They're exhausting. What motivates me is a good damn time. That's what motivates me. A good cigar and a glass of wine and a good time. Now, that's what I'm looking forward to. Listen, man, thank you for coming on tonight. I appreciate it. And, I think anything that can help us decide and define how we love and care for each other better, I think is important. Your story is absolutely amazing. And I think the journey with your dad is a whole separate book, man. You ought to just write one on that if you haven't already. Thank you, Dr. Eric Bailey. Thank you. I don't know if he's a doctor, but thank you, Dr. Eddie Connor. And thank you for watching. I'll be back. I'm not going anywhere. Y'all be good to each other in the meantime. I love you.